artificial intelligence is without a doubt the number one opportunity for this industry. And that's going to be the change. It's not going to be machines. It's how we differentiate ourselves with servicing and how intelligent we can be with after sales that's really going to set us apart.
Hello, Ciaran. How's it going? Welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you on the other side of the seat today.
It feels a little different sitting on this side of the table rather than being the one asking questions. I feel a lot more vulnerable.
Yes, you will. We're going to be digging deep. Yeah. So growing up, did you ever see yourself getting into the machinery business, and how did that happen? What do you remember as a child?
I think, like everyone, I was obviously in the machinery when I was younger, playing around with diggers and dozers and all that sort of stuff. So I always had a natural inquisitive nature towards machines. I think the real opening for me came when obviously recessions and stuff started happening here. People started thinking about, what sort of industries were going to be recession proof and how would that look in today's space? Because I came from, a pub industry, like I came from hospitality. So obviously we've seen decreasing spends coming down through the years, right from the 80s, right through into the 2000s. So early 2000s, I guess I was looking at different industries to see how that would affect. And recycling is ultimately the industry that I sort of came in and was like, you know what, this is extremely interesting to me because there's always going to be waste. There's always going to be need to process it. And, governments were becoming more and more green as time was going on. So from that, there was a natural progression for me moving from, hospitality and obviously recycling water bottles and stuff to actually going into looking at recycling more in depth. And that's really what led me into machinery, starting to look at different companies who were dealing with machinery. And then I fell in love with the process, so there's a real moment when you sort of see the material as it comes off, it starts being a real waste product, going through a whole process of being screened, of being crushed, whatever it happens to be, and then coming out as a reusable product on the other side. Like there was just a magic that really got me there, and I fell in love with the process.
It's incredible. And so what did that look like getting into the industry? And then can you walk us through your career since then? What's happened and where are you now?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess to cut the story sort of short, I started off working for a small manufacturer who was doing a lot of the components for some of the larger machinery manufacturers. So we were like a small subcontractor that would have made magnets and the likes of that. So I made the move from that on to a dealership that was focused in the UK. So we were basically driving around trying to sell machines to recycling companies, shipping companies, compost companies, et cetera, all over the UK. So I had basically everything north of Birmingham was my space. So quite a big territory, a lot of space to cover, and I met some amazing customers. And I guess that's what really put me on the path of like trying to be a little different than everyone else. Everyone else was sort of was pounding the pavement and dropping business cards into people. And I always wanted to understand how I could sell more efficiently. So in those early days, utilizing search engine optimization, utilizing social media, and actually having some benefit with that and a level of success with that was really what set me on the path. And I was like, do you know what? Like there's a real opportunity in this industry to move forward and that we're not competing in the same way as everyone else. So, I took that from the dealership side and wanted to understand, like, was the manufacturing the same? So I went and worked for a company based in Tyrone, which the majority of crushing and screening manufacturers are based within that sort of triangle around Dungannon. So went down and worked for a manufacturer there. And I guess the only thing that changed for us was that our end customer changed. We wanted to understand that we were selling to dealers, not the end users. So trying to figure out like how we went around and how we differentiated ourselves in comparison to every other manufacturer who, again, was out pounding the pavement, trying to go through all these different dealerships to try and differentiate themselves from every other person out there. So we came up with a sort of lead generation plan where we go out and actually generate leads for our dealerships within an area and say, hey, we would love to work with you. And, here is 50 people in your area that are looking at these machines right now. And that strategy became really successful. So the company, exceeded revenue targets. They ended up getting acquired by a US by a huge US company, and I had an opportunity to go work with them, and decided, you know what, like, I see how broken the industry is. I see how technology and digital can make a huge difference. And I thought I would go out and conquer the world and start my own company and jump in there. Obviously, it wasn't just as easy as that. But, you know, when things came, the push came to shove, and we went out, we tested, we spoke to customers, we ended up finding, you know, some businesses that ended up working in there. And I guess that's what sort of put me on the path I'm on now.
Amazing. And can you tell us about what that path is now? So for people who've never tuned in, listened to this before, or have never come across you, what do you do, and what are you working on right now?
Absolutely. So I guess I'm a second-time founder now. Formed a company called Machinery Partner, that was an online dealership / marketplace that focused specifically on construction machines, where we were great at finding customers and transacting them online through non-traditional digital channels. We weren't so great at supporting those machines, you know, because essentially we didn't have any support people working for us. And so that really put me on, you know, like looking into service and support. And I wanted to understand, you know, was that something that we came across, or was that more general in the industry? So I took a bit of time. I went talking to a number of dealerships in the space, and it turned out everyone was finding exactly the same issue. So essentially we started what would become Digital Iron right there. And essentially, Digital Iron helps dealerships move from reactively servicing broken equipment to proactively generating high margin part sales. And what that looks like, it's on a day-to-day basis. Machinery dealers are focused on machines when they break down. So that's when the service and support calls come in. That's when customers are squealing at dealerships, trying to get them to take them seriously, trying to get them to get on the phone and solve their problems. So essentially, we help them move beyond that, giving them a basis where they can utilize technology to ingest and answer questions and documentation they have from the machines, but to move beyond that, to actually model out usage based on historical information to help them sell more spare parts as they go. So essentially, we help dealerships make more money with the data that they have at the moment and the customers they already have.
That's fantastic. And through your work previously in the industry, can you tell us maybe an example of a time where you've spotted this problem, or you've seen the frustration in real time when serving customers?
I mean, Joel, I could sit here all day and tell you stories where I've literally, like, I still have recordings of customers who phone me squealing and shouting, effing and blinding. You know, like some of, like, you would have thought the customers were speaking French, the amount of profanities they squealed at me. And like, I get it. Like, this is the thing. Like, I get it. I understand when a machine goes down. Like, this is a customer's livelihood that's at stake. You know, downtime is unacceptable. When we sell someone a machine, we sell them a promise that we're going to look after them as well. You know, and that's really what I've seen in the past. It's like, typically when a dealership goes outside of the warranty window, they get overwhelmed. You know, they've got hundreds and hundreds of machines out there, and it's physically difficult to look after them. So I've seen customers lose their business over machines going down, machines failing, and an inability to get spare parts to customers in a timely manner. I've seen that firsthand. And that's really what set my mission apart. I'm like, you know what? I need to actually do something to get out and help these customers and make sure that this becomes a thing of the past.
Fantastic. So as you've seen technology develop over the last 20 years of working in the industry, and you've been working with dealerships and you know, running an online dealership, where do you see the big opportunity for dealerships today to improve, to make more money, to just get ahead of the competition?
I think dealerships now, their differentiation isn't in the products that they're supplying, because everyone has similar products. Everyone is supplying similar, like, even though they're all painted different colors, they're essentially the same machines out there. I think differentiation has to be in the service that they provide to customers. And that's really what we do. Dealerships are filled with data, you know, historical data, and that comes down to service and support tickets. It comes down to, you know, every time a machine has went down historically, like, how has that machine went back up? What have they done to do that? Like, dealerships all have this information. They have it there, but they keep it in data warehouses that really bear no significance to a dealership. They keep all this information on the off chance they may or may not use it. Our technology takes that information, and in essence, you can think about it like, I know we've talked about this internally. We use the metaphor of a trommel. So we look at a waste jar where you've got all this information sitting. You've got all this material sitting. It's the same as a data warehouse inside a dealership. You've all that information sitting. We essentially lift it up, we stick it in the hopper, and we put it through a trommel. We extract the information out, and we take all the waste and put it on one side. It's exactly the same process. We screen what a dealer needs to know. We give the customers access to the information faster, and we help them sell spare parts easier. Like that. And that's what's going to help dealerships in the long run. It's how they service customers they have, how they keep customers coming back, and how they can repeat custom as going through the years.
Amazing. Throughout your career, what would you say has been the greatest challenge so far?
I mean, it's pretty hard to put it down to one challenge. I guess I've been pushed back a lot on, I've been a real advocate for digitalization within this industry. No one really believed that it could work that way, because it's traditionally worked that you have to get out in the van, you have to drive around the place, you have to work with paper and handshakes, and that's just essentially that this industry will never change. That's what I've been told, throughout my career. And time again, we just fight it, and progress will happen. You look at different industries, you look at how cars are changing, you look at the automotive industry, you look at agriculture even. Like agriculture is so much further ahead than our industry. Crushing and screening is essentially in the past. But again, diggers, dozers, they're all the same. And we've found that now there's a new generation of people taking over these companies. And I think there's a real opportunity with the advancements in technology. Now we're actually in a position where we can start to make a difference. Technology's in place now. We're ready to make that change. We're ready to take those data warehouses that are in dealerships and to turn it around and try to make potential revenue out of that. And I think that's really that's what I've been fighting for the last 10 years, to probably now in a position where we're actually ready. Technology has caught up, and we're in a position where we can just move through simple automations to actually make intelligent replays of that data warehouses to actually make them make money.
Fantastic. Out of all of the technological advances over the last number of years, what are you most excited about personally, and what change do you think that will actually make in the industry itself?
I mean, I think from my perspective, artificial intelligence is without a doubt the number one opportunity for this industry, because, I keep reiterating these data warehouses. AI has the opportunity to dig into these data warehouses to look for patterns and bring out those opportunities within that. And I think that's a really, it's something that, you can't look at a version like ChatGPT or something like that. It's not going to make any sense of what we do. That's why if you're working in our industry, you need something as specialized as what we do at Digital Iron. We go deep in an industry because we're experts. We know exactly what we're talking about. We can talk the same language as the dealerships and their customers. We understand exactly the pain that they're going through on a day-to-day basis, because we've been there and we've done it. So artificial intelligence put in the right capacity has the complete opportunity to change this industry from top to bottom.
Incredible. When we talk about artificial intelligence to some people in the industry, there is naturally a bit of pushback or fear around that. What do you say to that, or what is your reaction?
I mean, it's the same way that people thought when computers came out that computers would take jobs. When cars came out, cars would take jobs. In essence, it hasn't happened. What it's done is progressed industries, and it's made people more efficient. And artificial intelligence is exactly the same. It's just a way to make you do your job better and faster. It's just going to make you more efficient. It's going to those sort of menial tasks that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, those manual crucifying jobs that you have to do every single day. Artificial intelligence can literally sort of push that on its head, and it can start to automate those processes and just pull out information that's going to make you more efficient and better at your job. So I think there's going to be a difference between people who embrace artificial intelligence and people who push it away. The people who embrace it, they're going to move forward at a much, much faster rate. And I think that's the opportunity here.
What do you think it looks like for heavy machinery dealerships to embrace AI other than get on board Digital Iron? Is there any other ways, or, what would you recommend to a managing director or a parts manager listening to this podcast today?
Of course. I mean, I would say start small, go on to ChatGPT, play about with it. If you're replying to emails of customers, ask ChatGPT how to do it better. stuff like that. Like you can literally ask ChatGPT to do stuff for you, and it will come up with a better way. Now, will it be perfect? No. It'll need a little tweaking. That's just but it'll give you a basis of what you're doing. So I think just utilizing it'll demystify AI. Number one, it will take away any fear that you have, because you understand that, it's an extremely intelligent system to use, but it's not going to change. It's not going to replace any jobs. It's not going to replace service techs, or it's not going to replace part managers, because it's not specialized enough. What it'll do is make your day to day on the daily a bit easier. And that's what I say to people. It's like, just go out there and play with the tools that's out there. Play with the tools, demystify it, just show that it's not the inherent fear that people are pushing on it. And then when they're ready, come and talk to us, and we'll show them how exactly digital iron works for companies.
Yeah, brilliant. So we talked about your greatest challenge. What's been your greatest success, or what are you most proud of in your career so far, Ciaran?
I think moving from like someone who worked in the industry to trying to lead a company is probably the biggest achievement. Like being able to get people excited about what I'm doing enough that they'll jump in and join me in these journeys. Like that's really what I'm most proud of. It's being able to sit in a room with someone, explain this vision of what I have, and for them to go, shit, I actually see that. And I believe you, and I think we can do that. Obviously raising money, all that sort of stuff matters, but having a vision and being able to share that with customers, with team members, and being able to bring them on the journey is the most important part to me, and that's what excites me. Building companies, bringing people on the journey, and ultimately helping customers. Like I want customers to be happy. If the customers aren't utilizing this technology, then I haven't done my job properly, and that's what keeps me on my toes.
So you're someone who has had an accurate vision for the future of this industry for a number of years now. What does the next 5 years look like? What does the next 10 years look like in this industry?
I think there's going to be a lot of technology that's going to be integrated. I think things that have been working in the past, they're going to stop working. I think the manual process in this industry is going to have to change. Because what you're having a brain drain in the industry. There's less and less people that are coming through that are picking heavy machinery, and the service techs who are in the industry, they're going to be leaving. So it's how do we maintain a flow of people into this industry that's going to be trained highly enough and be able to do that. And I truly believe that the only way to do that is to supplement it with technology. And notice I don't say replace, because I never believe, I don't believe that anyone will be replaced in this industry. But what I think is technology can help people do their jobs better. And for example, that again, I'll go back to this idea of a data warehouse. You'll have support tickets that have been down there for historical, sometimes in the 90s, and what you'll have there is indications of when a machine went down, what was the cause of the machine going down, and what fixed it. Like all that information can be pulled out to help people model what happened in the past, and it's using their own knowledge and their own staff to go back and say, oh, the last 6 times this happened, this is what the causes were, and then using that information to be more intelligent about the service you give to your customers. I think utilizing that is going to be the biggest opportunity for this industry right now. Because there's so much data, there's so much stuff that people have been keeping all over the years that it really has done nothing. Now is the opportunity to turn that data warehouse into a recycling plant where we can literally turn that material and spit out money. And that's what I think the opportunity is going to be. They're going to pick up on that low-hanging fruit, and that's going to be the change in the industry. It's not going to be machines, because as we all know, we're constrained by the supply. It's how we differentiate ourselves with servicing and how intelligent we can be with after sales that's really going to set us apart from everything else.
Fantastic. So that's the vision for the next number of years. What do you think the greatest inhibitors or challenges within the industry are? Like, where is it broken? You've mentioned inefficiencies in certain processes, but is there other big red flags that are in the industry that you see will need to be solved?
I think there's a few things. The inability to share information is one. It's something that I've thought back on for quite some time. People, they don't want to share information in terms of pricing. They don't want to share information in terms of designs of machines, etc., etc. And I understand that. The issue being, like, when someone has a deer, for example, deer wants you to go back and bring your machine back to them so they can plug it in, diagnose it, and send on. Now, obviously, Right to Repair is actively trying to fight back against this, to give everyone the access to the information that they should and will have. So I think, like, shifting the mindset of a lot of people to, like, cut down the hedges, as it were. Everyone thinks that people are trying to steal their ideas and people are trying to steal their business model. Again, we all sell the same machines. They're all for around the same price, or if they're not, there's a reason why they're not the same price. Customers aren't price sensitive. They're buying the machine that's right for their application, and I'm an advocate for that. The right machine for the right application at the right time will solve anything. So I think that's one of the limitations, is like sharing information, making sure that we're all on the same path, and that we're not afraid to put that into the open space. As long as it's being used in the right terms, I think we've nothing to worry about.
Okay, that's really interesting. So we've mentioned our sort of the future opportunities, the future risks. I guess my next question would really just be around, what does the next year, 2 years, maybe 5 years of Digital Iron look like? Without saying anything you're not able to say that's confidential, can you give our listeners just a bit of a taste of where the company is going and what opportunity that will look like for dealerships?
We really want to work with the best customers, so for us, it's about taking a small group of customers that we can work with, that we can really change how they do after sales. And that's what it's about for us. It's about changing how companies handle after sales right now. We want people to be more efficient. We want people to make more money. And that's what the next focus for Digital Iron, and the singular focus for Digital Iron will always be our customers and their customers. Like, we're committed to make sure that we can factor downtime on machines. We want to really be a limiting factor in downtime. We want dealerships to be able to work in an efficient manner so they can limit the downtime of their customers. We want to really help dealerships with that. So for the next 18 months, that's our complete focus. Making sure that dealerships can handle their support inquiries much better, make sure they can sell more parts, and make sure that we can limit downtime on end users. That everything else is a distraction.
Yeah, brilliant. Look, we normally let our guests have a shameless plug at the end, so we'll give you the same opportunity. So, what should listeners do if they're heavy machinery dealers? What's your call to action for them?
Well, I think give us a shout. We have some interesting demo opportunities out there. We can go through and just see exactly what it is we do. Like, I would say, go on, look through the demo. It's an extremely easily clickable demo that shows you step by step how we can make a difference. I think if you go do that, have a look, and if you're any way interested in AI, or you're interested in digitalization of after sales, come and just talk to us. Like, even if we can't help you, we'll tell you. But we can give you some clean cut ideas on how to move forward. And that's all we're about, sharing ideas and sharing opportunities with people.
Fantastic. Look, Ciaran, thank you so much again for appearing on the show today as a guest. You'll be back in the hot seat next time, but thank you so much. And chat to you soon.
Thank you, mate. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.